Hello, Vortex. We're gonna do a song about FOMO. Did it happen? If people didn't see it happen. Are you happy if other people don't see you be happy? Are you in love? Are you really in love with this person? You take a picture, maybe it'll last longer. That's what they say, that's what they say, that's what they say. I actually think the opposite is true. Oh my goodness, I just had a realization, y'all. I had a realization in front of Lowe's. Okay, so that saying, take a picture, lasts longer. What if they're using... Oh my goodness. Here you go. What if they're using pictures to either extend time? I feel like this is already information that's been out there. But we're just elaborating here. Okay, the Cherokee people are really terrified of cameras. And the Amish refuse to be photographed. I feel like there's a significant reason for that. People that are more in line with God's will want less and less to do with this material world. They want less and less to do with modernity. They want less and less to do with technology. They want to get back to their roots for various reasons. Also, they can get called heretical and crazy and paranoid by people that bitch about the government every chance they get on Twitter or Instagram or Telegram or whatever. But yeah, it's like a picture can make it seem like time has extended. But it's also there to enslave us, you know? It's like that's all time is. Because if you're aware of your creator, if you're aware of like your presence in this world, and this is only temporary, and this is just a passing phase, we're gonna be moving on to the next thing. You know, Loretta Lynn, she's got a song about it. This world's just my dressing room, and I'm getting ready to go. I think those are the lyrics. But it seems like people don't really care if things are real. If things are real, it seems like people don't really care if the food that they're eating is actual food. If what they're watching on the TV is actual news. If what they're listening to is actual music. And the people that they engage with are actual people. Now, I've always wondered this, long before the internet. I remember back before computers took over everything, and things were better, things were better, things were better. And I know that every element of progress is just like another element of progress. You don't have to tell me that. It doesn't mean that we gotta go along with things that we don't agree with and think that you've missed the mark, you've missed the mark. You don't have to go along with anything that you don't want to go along with. I think you've forgotten that. You have free will. You have free will. But what is free? What is your will if it's not God's will? I think about that a lot. Am I going along with what he wants me to go along with, or am I doing the Amy Gross shit? I want my Amy Gross shit to be more in line with what God wants shit, you know? And there are many people that would get offended by my mouth, by my vulgarity, and everything that comes out. At least you can expect that what you see is what you get, and there's nothing, and I mean nothing, that I can fake. Sometimes I wish that it wasn't that way. Sometimes I wish that I could just read off lines. Read lines off a script just like everybody else that I'm apparently dealing with. I hate that about this culture. I hate that about this material world. I hate that I can predict what you'll say next, and then what he or she will say next. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one that feels like this. I know I can't be the only one playing piano in a field across the street from Lowe's. I know I can't be the only one doing shit like this. Come the fuck on. There are millions of Amy Grosses out there playing piano in fields across the street from Lowe's, okay? There's so many people out there on the internet doing what I'm doing, okay? Can you imagine if they had a podcast out here? I need to get like one of those fancy schmancy microphones and not connect it to anything, but just like put it out here. Bring my bookshelf of books that I haven't read yet, and just have it stacked behind me so that everybody knows I'm a conservative. You know? I want you to know that I believe in books, damn it. Yeah. See, this is freedom right here. This is what it's like to be truly American. Where are my fucking hot dogs at? Where are my hot dogs? Where's my American flag jumpsuit? Where are my American flag floaties? You know those things that like you put on floaties? Is that what they're called? Something like that. Sorry, we just make up words over here because everything else is made up, so we might as well just keep on going, right? What are those things called? Like you wear them in the pool, like when you're really young, so that you don't drown. Floaties. Floaty, is that really what they're called? Floaties, floaters, something like that. Well, they need to have some with the American flag. That's all I'm saying. I feel like it's kind of obvious though, like with, not just with the American flag, but with like the cross. Like, you know, I wear this cross because it means something to me, but there are a lot of people I know that wear a cross and like they're not even Christian. It's either something that they think looks cool, or it's something that it meant something to somebody else and that person died and now they have it. So it's one of those nostalgic things. It's not because it actually means something to them. I mean, y'all, I take this cross with me. I used to take it everywhere I went, and I didn't believe it. You know, I wasn't a Christian at the time, but I still took this with me. Not to make people think I was a Christian, but because a friend of mine made it, and I helped her with this whole project. And so it meant something to me based off of that. But I feel like that's true of like all these different symbols. And there's really no way to know if somebody's like an actual Christian or if they're like patriotic for reasons that make sense, you know, like they love their country because this is where they live, this is where their whole family lives, you know, there's a history here, at least we've been told that anyway. Okay, that makes sense. Nobody has to explain to me why people are nationalists or patriotic or whatever the fuck. I'm just not that way, y'all. I'm just not that way. You're not going to get me through identity politics. You're just not going to get me to give a shit about that. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. It's just measurable time. It's just, you know, stuff that we can point out. Like I can point out my skin color. I can point out my genitals. I can point out my gray hairs. I can point out, you know, stuff about me that makes me different. Stuff that society would deem schizophrenic. The reason I talk about schizophrenia is because I want people to be educated about it in a very, like, I guess unconventional, obviously, very unconventional, politically incorrect way. You know, because everything that you hear about everything is for the purpose of spreading propaganda. Okay? I'm not making any money off this. I'm sitting in the field across the street from Lowe's, playing music off of some fucking old school Yamaha. It's missing keys, okay? Like, I'm not making money. But I think that we live in an age, and we live in a country, and we live in a culture, and a whole society that's obsessed with image, and we're obsessed with status. And because we don't have the kind of caste system of like the third world countries, it seems, people are obsessed with that. They have more of a reason to be obsessed with status. Because it's something that you can attain, you know? Like, say I make some really shitty piece of music. Say I haven't already made a really shitty piece of music, okay? But say this piece of music, for whatever reason, gets famous. It's like, people are gonna pay homage to me, or they're gonna give me money, or they're gonna give me time and attention, and act like I'm something special, all because I happen to be at the right place at the right time, and somebody sees what I do, and they happen to like it, and they put it out there, or whatever the fuck. I mean, there are just so many different things that factor into why somebody is where they are. And I don't trust it. I don't trust that. I've never trusted that about this country. I've never trusted that about the whole celebrity culture. You know, there are people, and I've mentioned them before, I'm not going to mention them again, but you know who I'm talking about. There are people online that I think are talented and write about stuff, and, you know, they have some celebrity to them. People pay attention to what they do. And I just don't give a shit about, you know, status. Never have, never will. But I can appreciate talent. I can appreciate people that care enough to, like, spread their message, even if their message is not politically correct and people are going to shit all over it. But a lot of this stuff, though, I don't trust it. You know, I don't trust it. Like, whatever they're saying, I feel like a lot of it is for, you know, the show aspect of it, you know? Like, people get all hyped about, you know, somebody supposedly speaking truth to power and shit. But it's like, dude, nothing is what they say it is. Like, stop putting your hope and faith in people, places, and things, because it's all just surface level, you know? You just don't know what might actually be happening behind the scenes. I'm a very open-minded person, okay? Like, I'm not gonna make these bold declarations that things are happening. Like, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. And I'm actually, like, tired of trying to figure out what's going on, just because, like, maybe it's not for me to know. I think that people can get very obsessive about that. Not just conspiratorial people. I mean, you see that, like, it seems like there are two types of people. They're the type that obsess about the things that they're told to obsess about. You know, these people watch CNN, all right? They watch CNN or Fox. So the mainstream people, right? And then you have people that are more like outside. But they're still being fucked with just as much, but they think that they have more control over it. So, like the conspiratorial people that watch Nymphosaurs and think that motherfucker is not a Zionist. Aren't they all Zionists? Yeah, they're all Zionists, but who are they working for? Who are the Zionists working for? That's what they don't want to talk about. And what's his face just made that shit blatantly obvious. I'm not even going to say his name. But we all know it starts with a K. We all want to believe in somebody that says things that we think, that says things that we want to say out loud. Well, why don't you say it then? Why do you need some big hotshot celebrity to say things for you? Why do you need somebody else to be your mouthpiece? You have a mouth, you have a mouth, you have a mouth. It's like people that expect bureaucrats to do shit for us. People that expect teachers to educate our children. That's your job, that's your job, that's your job. But I don't blame the people entirely. They were brought up in the system. They were raised by the system. They were born into the system. So they don't realize that people do stuff. It's just a system that fools us into thinking that it's necessary when it's people that run stuff, people that make stuff, and people that say stuff. But I'd rather people do stuff than say stuff. You know? Like, if you really have a problem with the Star of David media, well, then don't pay attention to it. Don't watch it. Don't talk about it. That world isn't real, right? That world isn't real. Like, the more you talk about it, the more real it becomes. So that's what I don't understand about these people. They just need to drop some LSD every once in a while, then they'll figure out that everything they talk about is just futile. And when I talk about drugs, by the way, I'm not, like, encouraging people to just become drug addicts. Because, you know, a lot of these motherfuckers, they're very all or nothing. Like, they can't see that, you know, a little goes a long way. So, if you just do a little, you can gain a lot. But most of these people, because they're educated by a system that coddles them, and insists that if they're the slightest bit sad, they're depressed. If they have issues of drinking too much or smoking too much, shooting up too much dope, whatever the fuck, if they have any sort of issue with that, well, no, they have a disease. They have a disease. It's not a morality problem. No. It's not a morality problem. It's not because their morale is low. It's because they have a disease, okay? That's an example of coddling. That's an example of removing any and all personal responsibility and accountability. When you just label somebody and you say, oh, well, you have this thing and that's why. It's not because you're bad. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you're pathetic. It's not because you do things that are morally and ethically repugnant. It's because you just have this little tick inside your brain. It's not your fault. That's not a personal choice that you make. No. It's an example of coddling. But, of course, people that have been coddled their whole life, they're not going to accept, okay, like, I have a problem with this because, I'm a sinful person. Or, like, I'm a selfish person. Or I'm a very ignorant, arrogant, incompetent person. I don't know how to do things. So, naturally, people are going to say that, like, drugs are bad. Or, they're going to say all kinds of things because they're just ignorant. And they don't know the right way to do something. So they're just going to say, oh, it's wrong no matter what. Well, that's where we come in, and we're here to tell you that you can do whatever the hell you want as long as you're conscious of it, okay? But to be conscious means that you're going to be a major inconvenience to everybody else, and people are going to hate you, and they're going to call you names, and they're going to say a bunch of shit about you that's not true. Get used to that. It's fine. It's fine because you're doing God's will, and you know yourself. The people that know themselves will always be scolded by people that don't know themselves, okay? People that don't have any idea what the hell's going on. They're always going to scold people for, like, being more aware of how, this whole world's a lie. Because that's not a convenient reality, is it?